a lot has happened on the Malawi political forum recently, and it's exciting. It's exciting for so many reasons, but the most important for me was that the drama surrounding the nominations of political candidates of various parties has meant that a lot of youths are interested in politics. It's the same effect that Donald Trump had on the American political scene. You know, he brought in so much drama that even those people who are apolitical started taking, you know, keen interest in politics. So this is going to be a really good thing. You know, the fact that Rasic Komeni came in, you know, the Mutarika and the Chimulilenji, it's important for Malawian democracy. This is what we needed at some point. But that's just on one front. I would like to go into several things that should come out of this whole thing. It's very interesting to me. I'll start with Rasic Komeni. Rasic Komeni, I understand he's not been picked by Meg because he did not have the money. He was not serious. So even though a lot of people saying he's underlining a serious message, he's not. He's a one-issue guy. You know, all he has on his mind is, you know, Indian hemp. You mention this problem, he drags you back to Indian hemp. We don't want people like that. We don't want people who will run on one issue. You know, you cannot just run on one issue. You have to be around. Malawi is bigger than just, you know, Indian hemp, and we would have to do. I don't know. So Rasic Komeni is off. The fact that he doesn't have the democratic structures. I mean, the man nominated his own mother. It means he's that shallow. He doesn't even have the pool, even in his Rastafarian community, to look for someone with similar views. So that for me is a no-no. The same goes for the likes of Swila and the whole crew. They're just not serious. They have nothing to offer. So I'll jump to Joyce Banda. Joyce Banda is opportunistic. Joyce Banda knows that she will not win. You remember the last time she went on BBC supporting her alliance with Solos Chilima. She knows she will not win. She doesn't have the tract anymore. And she lost to Peter Mutarika, even though she was the president at that time. So Joyce Banda will not win, and she shouldn't have run. She should have stuck to the coalition with UTM, but she didn't. So that's her own issue. And her running mate is just there. But Joyce Banda is equal to the likes of Chikomeni at this point. Then let's go to Lazarus Chakwera and Siddiq Meya. Now, this is a formidable force. You know, if there's going to be someone who is potentially going to win the election, it's going to be one of these three. You know, Peter Mutarika, UTM, or MCP. Now, the issue with Siddiq Meya is that he's bought his way into the party. He's never been MCP. He's always been out there. He's always been a businessman who is adept at infiltrating into the governments of the day and for his own good. So Mr. Siddiq Meya, for me, is a blight on the MCP brand. But they say he has got a lot of following in the lower Shire, which is a lot of votes. So MCP was thinking in those terms, let's bring in someone from the lower reaches of Malawi. So maybe he would do the trick. But the fact that he's a politician with no principles doesn't sit well with me. And then there is Mr. Chakwera himself. You know, I don't like the fact that he appeals to religion so much. Oh, let us pray this, God, that. Malawi being an atheist nation, let me say a secular nation, we don't need people who are going to be praying constantly. You can't pray problems away. We need someone who's practical, who's out there. Now, Mr. Chakwera has been in parliament for a while now, but he's always been that guy who is not very sure You know, his opposition is not that powerful, so it's not very convincing for me, for Mr. Chakwera. So he unfortunately does not cut it for me. And let me quickly go back to UTM. Now UTM is an interesting consumption, because Mr. Saulus Chilima has come to the fore with a lot of pomp. There is a lot of enthusiasm, especially among the educated urban elites. Now, many people think he's a panacea to the problems we have, and the problems being corruption, the problems being stagnation of the nation, the economic joke that we are. So Mr. Chakwera has got that fire, you know. But before I go to that bad, I'll go to his running mate, the comedian Michael Usi. He's a normal guy, despite all his you know, comedic or comic approach to life. He's a normal guy in the office. He's as serious as anyone else. You know, the mask that he wears on TV is nothing. It's nothing when it comes to government. I think he can do a better job, actually better than Mr. Saulus Chilima himself. So I don't have any issues with Michael Usi. After all, him being from the Lomwe Belt means that he's going to take a chunk from APM's vote trove. So it was important for UTM to get someone from the Lomwe Belt. And I'll come back to this factor later. But back to Chakwera. Mr. Chakwera is better than Mr. Chilima is better than Chakwera, definitely. He's more pragmatic, he's more practical, he's more outgoing, he's got that, you know, bull power. You need someone who's going to, you know, get government by the horns. But you know, someone mentioned a few days ago that he's been in cahoots with these people, the DPP people, for a long time, and he never mentioned anything, you know. And he's been with them until it came to, you know, this point when he had to take over power. That's when he bailed and he started his own party and stuff like that. So that idea for me does not cut it. And then the people that went on to follow him, the likes of Patricia Kaliati, so many people with so much baggage. I wouldn't trust a guy like that. I wouldn't trust him. So Mr. Chakwera better than Mr. Chilima, better than Chakwera, but with a lot of baggage. That will take me back to the last one now, Mr. APM. Now, I'm sorry to say, I don't support DPP, I don't support APM. But when it comes to the upcoming elections, the guy that actually has a chance to win these elections is none other than APM. And there are a few factors why this is true, because number one, APM came to power when he was at a low threshold. He had no support. His brother put him in several ministries and he failed miserably. I remember he was the Minister of Education and he couldn't deal with the Unima saga at that point. He was like, oh, look at this guy. You know, the professor cannot communicate properly. You know, his speaking abilities are wanting each time he speaks. You know, he's old, he's sluggish, and he's arrogant. You know, a little bit like his brother. He's faced so much demonstrations, and he takes that, you know, tough guy approach to these issues where he pretends like he, you know, he's got things in control. He's not. The country is not moving. The country is economically stagnant. Corruption is at all-time highs. So Mr. APM is someone who should not be in the leadership of the country, but it still is. But there's nothing we can do, especially because, you know, it's the DPP. They've got the hold on the country, and the only way to oust them is if we vote them out. But that's not going to happen, because if Mr. Chakwera and Mr. Chilima have enough support to take away so much votes but from each other, this will leave APM in a strong position again. So come 2019, okay, when we go to the polls this year, Chilima is going to score a lot. Chakwera is going to score a lot. But APM is going to use that advantage to come out on top. So it's a really tricky situation for Malawians who are willing or looking forward to change, because things are not going to change. Firstly, Joyce Banda should have gone with Chakwera, and that guy, the UDF guy, should have gone with NCP, or maybe in either direction. Then there was a chance to defeat DPP. But as it stands now, I'm sorry to say that nothing good will come out of this election. It will be back to square one, where APM will go to 2024, and people, I'm sorry to say it, but this is it. Also, that takes me to the last one, Mr. Chimulilenji. Mr. Chimulilenji is uneducated. He's a joke. Okay, Mr. Chimulilenji is a joke, but it doesn't matter, because in Malawi it's not about ideas, it's not about what you have, it's not about how educated you are. It's always about who you are, where you come from. So Peter Mutharika was thinking, where can I get my running mate? And it was always going to come from that region, the Ngoni Chewa area. So Mr. Chimulilenji is a token guy, but a good pick for Peter Mutharika, because he's going to eat into the NCP votes in that Nchewu area, where Mr. Chilima is also looking to gain a lot of advantage. So Mr. Chimulilenji is a bad news for UTM and MCP. But with all that said, I'll go back to my earlier point that I started on, saying in Malawi, people don't vote on ideas, People vote on tribal, it's only people from the north that are always changing who to vote for, depending on the political temperature. But the rest of the nation doesn't bother. So Tiolo Mulanje and that Lomwe belt is always going to go for DPP, because people believe that, when someone is in power and is from your area, you actually are going to have to see some advantages, and this is true. So the people in the central region are always going to go for NCP, and then there is that mixture where DPP has infiltrated the central region. So DPP is going to take some, and UTM is going to take some, especially in the cities. And then DPP is going to go with the south and the rest of the region. So bad news for Malawi, because DPP is being given power again based on the arrogance of the people in these other parties. So it's not just about Joyce Banda not wanting to give away power. Even Mr. Chilima himself, after so much popularity that he garnered soon after leaving Mutharika, he could have gone to MCP to say, you know what, I'm going to go with you guys. But he didn't. Also, the UDF guy also did the same. He should have gone out to say, you know what, I have the votes, but I can't do this, so I'm going to go with either UTM or I'm going to go with MCP. But everyone secretly, they think they're it, so they're going to go alone. And that takes me back to Mutharika on Chimulilenji. Mutharika has figured out something. Before he came to power, he was nothing. His PR team was zero. His popularity was zero. His ability was zero. but he managed to win. Now, this time he's thinking, I can do it again. But he's forgotten one thing. When Mutharika came to power, APM, Joyce Banda was in power, and she had done a bad job at that point. Joyce Banda was constantly worshipping white people in her rallies. Corruption was going to town on everything else in government. And people were like, okay, maybe this lady is not cut out for government. And Mutharika was actually the lesser evil at that time. So Mutharika now thinks that, oh, I still got it. I can get some uneducated guy in the name of Chimulilenji and still do this shit. No. I think Mr. Mutharika is wrong, because corruption has deteriorated. He has been tried and tested and found wanting. So people are not always going to go with him again, especially because they have seen what he can do and what he cannot do in this case. So there are going to be surprises in the fact that he might suffer damage. He should have gone with a colorful running mate. And again, even for DPP itself, even though it's strong, it's got structures and it can eat into the other regions, it's forgetting that it also needed an alliance. They should really have gone with UDF. If they had gotten Austin Muluzi as Peter Mutharika's running mate, this was game over for everyone else. It was game over. But everyone is greedy. Everyone wants to do it their own way. And in the end, this is going to be a very dangerous election. Anything can happen. But my prediction is, if things stay the same, DPP is going to go to the polls, he's going to nail it, and then we're going to have five more years of the same stuff that we've seen over the last 10 years. So this is bad news for Malawi, but at least that's what's on the ground. So this is my basic analysis, and I hope you have your analysis too. But this is what was on my mind, and this is what I wanted to share. So take it easy, guys, and be safe. Elections in Malawi can be a dangerous thing, and that should probably take me to my last point, which is I have a friend. He's from England. His name is Stan Smith. He went to uni and he had a very interesting dissertation. So I was reading his dissertation, and in the dissertation he was arguing that democracy, he based his on Brexit, saying the people that decided that Britain should walk away from Europe do not actually understand the implications of what that decision will mean. So in terms of Malawi, the people that actually put someone in power are people who are uneducated, people who don't know what's good for Malawi, people who don't know what development is. So in Malawi it's the same. Should we allow, these village karangas to decide for everyone else? Should we have an informed electorate? This is the question. So you see a lot of people who are fighting in the streets, the people that will give you, the people that you fear when it comes to election times. There are people who cannot explain to you what parliament does. So it's a very sad situation that most of the electorate in Malawi is not well informed. But then what can we do to change the structure of voting? It would take years and years. After all, the problem is not the election system itself, it's the education system, which comes back to the government. So maybe the government is deliberately keeping people illiterate, because it knows that way it can get away with so much things. So but that's that. I'm running on to 20 minutes now. I shouldn't have spoken that much, but that's that. So this is what I had on my mind on the drama that is the 2019 in Malawi. Very interesting times to be in Malawi. Very interesting times to be a reporter in Malawi, I know. But that's that. And cut.